today's gonna be a little bit of a different video, I feel. I don't know how different it is, but it feels different in my heart. Which is that I guess I wanted to talk more about like my life or my something that's going on for me right now. And perhaps get some advice, perhaps not. Who knows? Anyway. It's a bit of a life update while also just sort of like venting. So basically, here's what's been stressing me out. I hate the summer. I hate summers so much. I hate this season of life. I find that a lot of time, like when I'm writing about myself, when I'm writing about my life, when I'm like reflecting on my life, I divide things up by seasons very often. And I think it's just because like summer is in such stark contrast with the rest of the calendar year or the rest of the seasons, and I hate it so much. I've always hated summer because as a child, I really struggled with like making friends and like cultivating strong friendships. And I felt like summer was this time where you were supposed to spend a lot of time with your friends. You're supposed to spend a lot of time having fun. You're off from school. Like this is a time where you just get to do whatever it is you want. And before you know, you have to go back to school, and then your life is under a different structure that you don't get to control anymore, right? And I feel like because I didn't have that like community and friendship life and social circles, whatever, like summer was always really underwhelming for me, and summer was always a time where I just kind of like stayed home and whatever. And then I got older and I became homeschooled for high school, and that like it then became like my summer was like my whole year, because basically the way my homeschooling was set up, it was technically more of like a virtual school because like I had teachers, but like they taught virtually, I guess. But everything was like self-paced, self-led, and I was able to get my schoolwork done. Like it was before like 11 a.m. every day. I had all my work done. Like I was very efficient, and I wound up having just like a lot of free time, and that drove me crazy. That drove me crazy. I'm like, remember at the time when I first got into like writing on Substack, I kind of like, I was really interested in this whole like trad wife movement. It was like conversations that we were having about like trad wives, because I was like, I feel like I got to live the life of a trad wife a little bit at the time because I was just home. I was just home all day. I didn't have any responsibilities, you know, whatever I needed. If I needed like food, or like if going to the grocery store, or if I wanted to get a book, you know, maybe my parents would get it for me. And I would wake up every day and I'll go on walks in my neighborhood with the grannies on their scooters, you know, who were doing their daily outing. And I felt like an orca, you know, trapped in captivity. I would just walk in circles in my neighborhood all day, every day. And that was pretty much as much outside time and stimulation that I got. And high school drove me crazy for precisely that reason. I was very depressed in high school, and I don't think I understood that because of how isolated I was. Obviously, COVID happened in this time, so there's like that huge factor. But me being homeschooled and living in a place where like I went to a different school district than where I live. So I didn't know very many people in my community. And all the people that I did know lived very far, you know, and I was very young. I didn't have my license. I actually didn't get my license until basically I graduated high school. I didn't get my license until I was 18. So I think I got it in May 2023, and I graduated in 2023. So it was like the very, very, very end. Got my license in May and then graduated in June. And so I didn't, you know, I couldn't really take myself places, and you know, my parents worked, and trying to get them to drive me places was just complicated. And so like I just spent so much time at home, and I was miserable. But summer felt like every single season. And I think like I've always struggled with social anxiety. I experienced social anxiety, I would say, for the first time, like proper panic attacks, in the beginning of my high school career, like freshman year. So I had anorexia like the end of middle school, beginning of high school. That was like when I was at its worst. And that's when my social anxiety started, when I went to high school. I don't know, I think it was just a mix of the anorexia and the socializing element, just feeling really overwhelmed. Like I literally, at the time, I honestly can't even fully explain to you what it was that was so triggering about being at school. But I'd always felt like I just struggled socially, and a lot of my motivation, I guess, around my anorexia was like trying to like gain friendship and like sympathy and care, and I felt like I wasn't successful at that. And I don't know, I just remember being with my friends and feeling like everybody was like cooler than me, and then also just kind of all of the anxiety and depression that I think just comes with like dealing with something like anorexia. So I would start going to school and I'd start having these really bad panic attacks, and it like got to the point where I would get dropped off at school but I just wouldn't go in. And so I would like spend all day in the parking lot. And so that was like the first time that I started having panic attacks, and specifically related to socializing. And then I spent basically all of high school by myself. And then when I graduated, I felt like my social anxiety sort of came back because I'd spent so much time not around people. So now I was kind of not motivated, like the triggers I guess were different, and like it didn't look the same as it did at the beginning of high school, but it was like I think on some level I still struggle with some form of social anxiety now, but it's very different, and it's way more manageable now than it was then. Beside the point. Summers, that's what I started this video talking about, always send me back to that like mind frame where I was just like, I do nothing and I'm home all the time, and it's hot, and like where I'm in the mountains. I've never tried to like show, I keep looking outside. Mountain range and like the trees. It's a beautiful scene, but like it can definitely feel like you're just like trapped. And you know, I just walk around my neighborhood all day. And well, I don't take walks as much anymore because it's really hot. But because like where I'm at, since we're in the mountains, it's like way hotter. So it just like the sun is just beating down on you and you're just kind of stagnant. Feels like being in a hot pool, you know? And so I hate the summers. I've hated the summers my whole life. I've hated summer because I just feel like I lack structure the most. I lack like seeing people the most, and my threshold of how much time I can spend before I need to leave my home is like very low. Does that make sense? Like I can only take so much time by myself. And so I hate the summers, but this summer is a little bit better just because I have more things that I'm doing. I have more work. So I feel like I've been able to stay busy. But this summer is also a special summer in that it is like the last one before I go and move away for college. And I'm going to UCLA. I live in San Diego. UCLA is like 2.5 hours away from my house. So it's a different city. It's not, you know, I definitely have to live on campus. Actually, just got my housing offer. I got my top housing choice. That was fun. But I'll need to move. It'll also be the first time I'm moving. Also, for context, I went to community college. It was supposed to take me 2 years, it took me 3. Your girl was finding herself. But I was in community college for 3 years, and now I'm transferring, so I'm 21. And obviously I've never moved out of my home, my family home. And now I'm going up. And I'm gonna move to a different city and be there for at least 2 years to finish my degree, and then like probably directly into my master's. And for the foreseeable future, I won't be living here again. For so long, I like dreamt of this. I dreamt of the moment that I was able to leave because I'm a huge homebody. I love my parents. I'm like probably more attached to my parents than I really should be. At this age, like that's something that I'm like, I don't know, people my age, it's like 21, you should be out there at the club, drinking, having a good time, being outside, young hoeing, if you will. And that's just not my ministry. Like I wish, and I'm not even saying this in like a pick-me way, I do genuinely wish I had more of a desire and a capacity to do that. I wish that I could, have more like romantic experiences and more like going outside and having those wild stories that you share at a dinner table in 20 years, I wish I had more of those, but it's just, and maybe I will when I move, but that to me feels like future me's problem. I am gonna be, like, I used to dream of like that opportunity to move, like not because I had any like desire to be away from my family, but because I was like, I'm going crazy, like being in this house. Like I've stared at the same 4 walls, this blue ceiling and collage wall since like 2016 when we moved into this house, and like every summer is the same thing, and it's just like I'm just like stuck here. And so I was really excited to move, but now I think I'm realizing how stark of a difference, how much these 2 stages of my life are gonna feel so different. It's not like normal high schoolers where you like maybe like go to a high school that's more nearby your house, you make friends, you're in sports, you're in clubs. Maybe you get your license at like 16. I know that's when you're like legally I think 15 and a half is when you could start, but then you can't get your license until you're 16, at least here in California. So you get your license. Mom, I'm taking the car. You go out, go to the movies, go to the mall. Like, girl, like working at the mall, having a job there, like I'm seeing the girls all the time. For Christmas in 2024, my sister got me an AMC A-lister membership. Still the best Christmas gift I've ever gotten. And I was at AMC all the time. And I would take myself to AMC, 1 o'clock on a Wednesday by myself. I was there with the wine moms, the only other people who had a free Wednesday 1 p.m. right? But like if I went in later, I'm seeing all the groups of kids, and like if that's your life, then transitioning to college, while it's still rough, I think is like not as big of a shock to your nervous system, because you're kind of used to the socializing, you're used to the like being around people, you're used to you kind of start micro-dosing independence throughout high school. Where like you learn to drive, and then maybe, a lot of people, it's like maybe you go out and you party, and you might tell your parents that you were just sleeping over at your friend's house and whatever, and you kind of have these like formative experiences. And so I think, not to sit here and say that I'm just more screwed than the average person, but like obviously I think every person struggles with like dealing with such big a life transition regardless. So I know that everybody has their own relationship with it, but for me, there's such a big difference. Like I'm going from like, there's virtually no difference, but genuinely for me in the way that I live my life day to day between being like 16 and now being 21. Like my day to day routine is honestly pretty similar. Like, I mean, I do social media, I write more and whatever now, but like, actually no, because I wrote a lot at that time anyway, beside the point. It's so difficult to open up and talk about. I do kind of want to be able to like involve more of my personal life on here and see if that feels therapeutic to me, but it's hard to talk about. This is such a big part of my life, and it's hard to talk about because it's so vulnerable. Like to sit here and be like, I don't socialize with people, and I'm very scared to have to do that because I'm going from here in my empty bedroom in my house where I have my parents and my sister and my cats and my dog, and this has been my life, some variation of this, since I was like 14. That's when I stopped going to in-person high school. And I've just paced this home for years and just dreamt of something else, dreamt of having a bigger life than this. And oftentimes, well, let me finish that thought. I've dreamt of like having something more, and now I'm getting that, but it's so scary. Because now I'm gonna go to a life where there's someone above me, I'm in a bottom bunk, and I have someone sleeping on top of me and sleeping on the other side of me. Because my housing offer, basically at UCLA, most housing like offers or whatever are triple rooms. So you have 3 people per room. Girl, there's not one direction I'm going to be able to look in that there's not another person. And you go get yourself some breakfast, people. Walking around campus, people. Class, people. People. Like I cannot tell you, especially since my sister didn't live here. My sister's 9 years older than me, so she's kind of bounced around for most of my life. And so for most of my time, and the way that my house is set up, my parents' bedroom is downstairs, so I'm the only one upstairs. So for a long time, it was just me up here. My sister's bedroom is up here now, so she's been here like recently, but for a while, it was just me up here. I'm used to like, girl, I can go several hours of my day seeing no one. And now it's gonna be like the complete opposite. And it's hard because I grew up, I think like people always told me that I was like very mature for my age, which honestly looking back was the worst piece of information someone could have ever have departed to my adolescent brain. Because I'm like, when you tell me, oh, you're so mature, like you're so mature for your age, like you're just wise beyond your years, it gave me this complex. It made me think that I was better than kids my age because like I was just in tune with a certain level of emotional maturity that they didn't have, which is stupid because it like prevented me from being able to like, I think really connect with kids my age because I kept thinking I was better than them. I just kept thinking like, you have these kind of like childish interests and I don't. I think I have 4 minutes left to talk. I need to get a better camera, beside the point. But like, yeah, I just kept thinking that. And then of course I feel like it got in the way of me being able to like be a normal kid and like make normal friendships. But the lingering impacts of that, and I think this is also just the lingering impacts of how high school went for me and whatever. That is very like, when I am around people my age, I have a really hard time, I think, connecting with people. I've always done better with people who are older than me, always. I have a really hard time connecting with people that are my age, because like, I think I literally like have this thing where I'm like, I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with you. I've spent such little time of my life with your demographic, with your community, with my peers. Like, do I put on Cocomelon? What does your demographic watch? Because I don't know what to do with you. And I have to figure that out. It's like, I went to UCLA to tour it for their like transfer Bruin Day or whatever. And I'm looking at all these, you know, my future classmates. And I'm just feeling like so overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these people. Like, I don't know how to like social, and I'm like very okay being by myself. I'm very okay being by myself. Honestly, I don't get lonely very often. I'm okay with it. But I also know that I do want to have like a social life, and I don't want to like be so ruled by these feelings of like, I don't know how to deal with people my age, you know? So I need to like get over this at some point or work on it. And also, you know, I write, and I write about my life a lot, and I always feel like I'm returning to the same themes. I'm returning to the same people, the same experiences. It's like I've just never gotten over anything that's ever happened to me. I'm always like rehashing the same thing. And especially since a lot of the time, like the things that I'm thinking about have to do with like the same amount of people, or the same people that I've dealt with, especially in my love life. And I get scared because then I'm like, God, I don't want these people to find this. Like, it's not even that I like feel bad about them knowing how I felt about them or how I felt about whatever happened. It's just them being like, God damn, girl, you didn't have one other experience since we met? Like, that's so embarrassing. So I'm in my head, I'm like, I know I need like more life experiences, but I think I'm always just like, well, I don't get any new stimuli living the life that I live. So I just kind of have to rehash the same things. But then a part of me, this video came to me in the shower yesterday, because I was like, well, I guess I could just talk about my life right now. Like, sometimes I get some requests of people asking me for like day in the lives or like life updates or whatever, and I'm like, I don't have anything to say. And I'm like, well, I could just say where I'm at right now, which is the fact that I hate the summer, and it's summer. So I'm trying to hate the summer less by keeping myself busy, but also this is the last summer where I do get to be cooped up in this house, and now I'm feeling weirdly attached to it. Now I'm feeling like I don't want to leave, because a big, bad, scary world is out there, and I want to experience it. And I know I'm sort of my own biggest op, because I know that I have the capacity to change my life and the capacity to feel different and reach out to people and like set a new precedent for myself, but it's really hard. It's really hard. I think I just like grew up feeling so different from everyone and not knowing if I knew how to connect to be someone people liked, I guess. Like, emotional intimacy is not something I experience very often, so I think I just have a hard time knowing how to like create that. But also even like surface level chill friendships are also like super life fulfilling and super giving, and I also don't want to like cut myself off from that anyway. This video might end randomly because I think I have a minute left of battery on my camera. So if that's why, if I just fade into darkness, that's why. I mean, I'm pretty much at the end of my point anyway. That's my life update. I wish I was more optimistic, but hopefully I can give an update in a couple of months and I'm thriving and I have so many friends and I do things every day. I can't conceptualize that. I cannot conceptualize that. I put clothes on to film. Like, I am in pajama bottoms right now. But I'm gonna put clothes on every day to see people and do things and be busy in like a meaning. Like, I am busy now, but I'm not busy like having to go out places. Like, I'm busy just with things I need to do and like put on the internet and talk to people and blah, blah, blah. But that's my life update. I really hope that wasn't super depressing. And I hope some people have some words of wisdom. And I hope this isn't super embarrassing either. If this post disappears, then you know why. But thanks for watching. Whoa, we made it before my camera shut down.